friends, welcome back to Art in the Stacks. Today we will begin learning how to draw portraits. So you're going to need a piece of paper, a pencil, and an eraser. And we do have a little bit of noise today. We're getting ready to open back up so that y'all can all come back next week. So if you hear the noise, it's okay. We're gonna keep pushing through. So put your paper in portrait view since we're drawing portraits today. So that means that it's, up and down instead of landscape view. So to begin, we're going to sketch a big circle kind of towards the top of our page. And for this lesson, we're just going to learn kind of how to do the framework of the portraits. And then next week, we'll go into more of the details of the facial features and things. So for the framework, you're going to want to sketch really lightly because a lot of it will be erased once we get everything set into place. So then from this circle, starting about in the middle, we're going to kind of drag some lines down that's going to form our jaw lines. And you're going to want to make this end about half the length of the circle. So let's say that we're going to measure with our pencils and end somewhere over there. And if you want to get some exact measurements, feel free to pull out a ruler. But for today, I'm just going to eyeball a lot of these things. Okay, so as you can tell, this is going to be the top of our head and our chin. And so from here, we're going to sketch a line straight down the center, just as straight as you can. And this just measures out where the middle of our face is going to be. And so if for this picture, we're doing it where the face is looking directly at the viewer. But if you wanted to do like a 3/4 portrait, then you would kind of tilt your jawline and make your center of your face be towards a different direction. But for right now, we're going to keep it simple and do it straight on. So then we're going to sketch out where our eyes are going to fall. So I'm starting kind of where the jawline meets the circle. And I'm just going to sketch a line across the middle of the page. Try to keep it straight. And then maybe about an inch above that, I'm going to sketch another line to be my eyebrow line. And these are all just kind of preliminary guesses on where I want things to go. And we can always go back and change them. That's why we're keeping our lines nice and light so that we can erase it easily. So then I'm just going to kind of guess that my nose may fall somewhere around here. Put a line across underneath this circle, and then my lips about halfway through my jaw. Okay, so now we're going to start laying down some of the features. And one of the hardest parts that I find in portrait drawing is making things proportionate and symmetrical. So features aren't always the same size, but they're usually pretty close. So I like to kind of measure with the back of my pencil to make sure that things are lining up about right. Or, like I said, you can take out a ruler if you want to be really exact. But for right now, we're just going to do some loose measurements. So I'm just going to start my eyes about from the end of this pencil over there. And do that on both sides. Just make little tick marks. And then what you want to make sure of is that your eyes are about the same size and that there's about an eye's worth of width between the two of them. So if my eye is going to be about that big, then I need to make sure that there's about that much room in between them. But my face is bigger than that, so I'm going to make it a little bit bigger. And you just kind of play with it until you find the right size. Let's see if that works. I'm gonna make them a little bit bigger. And again, it doesn't have to be exact right now. We can always go back and change it. But that looks pretty close. So for my eyes, starting in this center tick mark, I'm just gonna make them kind of an almond shape. To do a nice little curved line meeting from one edge to the other. And you can make them rounder or tilting up or down, however you want to do it. But for right now, I'm just going to do it really simple like that. And then try and make it symmetrical on the other side, ending with its arch in about the same place on either side. And again, right now we're just doing quick sketches so that we can kind of figure out what all we need to do and we can make changes later. I'm going to bring that down a little bit. And so right now I'm just working with a normal number 2 pencil because I figured that's what most of you probably have. But if you do have a special pencil kit, you're going to want to use your softer pencils on this part, the ones that are easy to erase, and save your harder ones for whenever we do details later. But if you're just doing number 2, then that's fine too. Just draw lightly over here. So now we're going to draw the eyelid line. So just kind of following the curve of your eye. We're going to do another line that kind of starts and stops on top. And then for the bottom eyelid, it's really close to the actual eye. So you're just going to draw a little line across the bottom. It's kind of hard to see, but we'll go back and add some details to that later in our next lesson. So then we'll do the same thing on this side. And our bottom line. And then we'll go ahead and form our irises. So I'm going to make a big iris in the middle that's going to kind of fall behind the eyelid. So I'm not going to make the full circle, but be sure that you kind of keep that same angle. And then kind of try to keep it about the same distance as the other one. And you can measure how big you made it to kind of get them the same size. I'm going to scoot it over a little bit. Okay, and then we're going to draw the little corner of our eyes. Just going to kind of make a soft point on the edge. Just like that. And one of the best ways to learn how to draw faces is to just practice and look at other faces. So if you want to take a picture of yourself or someone else, or just stare at yourself in the mirror and look at how your eyes are shaped and how the lid lines are and all that. So it just takes a lot of practice. And so I'm going to sketch a little line all the way from my brow line to my nose, kind of along the line of where my eyes stop. Make it very light. This is just going to give me an idea of where to start my brows and my nose. So on the eyebrows, I'm trying to straighten up this line a little bit. This top line is going to be where the eyebrow arch lands. So I'm going to start from this line that we just sketched here to do the bottom part. I may actually extend it out a little bit more. And then you can put your arch wherever you want, and you can do thin eyebrows, thick eyebrows, whatever you prefer. And so for right now, we're just going to do a little outline of how they're going to go, and then later on we'll kind of erase this and go into doing little detailed hairs. So then we're going to do the same thing on the other side, trying to keep it about the same width as the other one. And then just ending past our eye, or however far you want your eyebrow to go. Again, look at your own eyebrows and see if you can imitate those. Okay, and we'll leave that for now. Actually, this arch is a little farther over, so I'm going to scoot this one over a bit. like I said, that's something that I found is one of the hardest parts of portraiture, is just making sure everything lines up. Okay, and we can go back in and fix it a little more later. So now we're going to move on to our nose. So going from the bottom of the nose, of this nose line that we outlined, I'm gonna make a little circle to kind of show the roundness. And I'm actually going to use my eyes to see if I've measured my nose line correctly. So I want it to be, I'm going to measure out the size of my iris, which is about the tip of this pencil, and then I want it to be about 3 of those down. So that's about right. And you can make it further down or further up depending on how long you want your nose to be. But that's a pretty good general rule, is to make it about the size of your 3 down from your iris. So then I'm going to draw a line through the center of my nose. And from there I'm going to darken this bottom half of the circle and ending in a little curve along that horizontal line that I just drew. And that's going to be where our nostrils are. Doing the same thing on the other side. To be a little pointier, you can make your circle more like an oval to have it in there, but right now we're just going to do a little round nose. And then coming from the bottom of this nose line out to this line that we sketched earlier from our eyes, I'm just going to sketch out where the sides of it are going to fall. And we'll go back in later and add some more details, but for right now you can also drag some lines up from the circle that you made up to your eye line, and then they're going to curve into your eyebrows. Because if you think about the ridge of your nose, that cartilage kind of goes into where your eyebrows land. Okay, so then we're going to go a little bit below our nose. I'm going to draw a little oval for that little part between your nose and your lip, just to outline where that's going to fall. Maybe make it a little bit longer. And then this will be where the top lip is going to be. And so a little bit beneath that, I'm going to draw the center line, making a little curve that goes up on either side and then back down, and maybe ends in a little upward turn if you want them to be smiling. So I'm going to end it about part of the way through my eye. Not quite reaching the iris yet, but just where, however big you want your mouth to be. And again, this is when it helps to just look in the mirror and see where your mouth lies on your face, how long it is and how far away from your nose it is. It's different on every person. So for the bottom lip, I'm going to just go along my lip line and just make a little curved line that doesn't quite touch the other ones. Not yet anyways. And then for the top, we're going to curve it to almost meet the edge of our center lip. So you have something like that. And then if you want, like I think my chin's a little low here, so I'm going to actually move it up. Like I said, that's why we make our initial lines very light, so we can go back and change things later. Or if you want to move your features up instead, or have a long face, that's completely up to you. So then I'm going to move on to my ears. I'm going to have the top of my ears meet my eye line. So just keeping it really close to the side of my face, I'm going to have a little curve top off there, and then we'll have the bottom of it, let's say at the top of my circle that I use for my nose. Again, I'm just kind of guessing on where I want things to fall, but if you have longer ears, then you can make them even longer. And then I'm gonna just do a little bit of detail in the middle. Just draw a couple of curved lines to show that it has some depth in there, and then do the same thing on the other side. And again, ears aren't always perfectly symmetrical, but you want to kind of make it close to what the other one looks like. Great. So now we can kind of define where our hairline is going to be. I'm going to be drawing a person with long hair, and let's say that their part is right down the middle. So I'm just going to do some nice wispy curved lines to kind of determine where the hair is going to start. And right now we're just going to outline it, so we're not going into each individual strand, but maybe making a few to show us where we want things to be. Let's say I want this person's hair to be like up in a ponytail or something. So I'm going to start from behind the ear and go out from on top of my head to make an even bigger halo around where the hair is going to fall, all the way down to the other ear. And so you can add a few strands in there to kind of show yourself where you want the hair to fall. And maybe it will curl kind of at the bottom and end somewhere around there. And then you can draw a neck. I'm gonna kind of just start there from the edge of the iris and just make a nice little curved line, and you can even extend it to go onto the shoulders if you want. Right now, again, we're just doing, it's a very basic framework. So there is our initial sketch. And again, you can modify the jawline, make the eyes bigger or smaller, whatever you want, and you can play with it. And next week we will go into the details of the eyes and the hairs and everything. But for now, again, play with it, make as many sketches as you want, and then look at yourself in the mirror or at pictures of other people and look at how the light bounces off of eyes or how strands of hair fall in different styles and things, and kind of play with it. And then we'll meet again next week and learn more about portraiture. Thanks, guys. Bye.